My name is Goldman, and I'm the director and founder of Goldman & Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan, and today we're continuing our video series designed to educate and inform the public, so please subscribe to our channel. I want to handle a question from the viewing audience because I think it's important that we address it word for word. I think it's something that a lot of people wonder about. This one says, quote, "My ex filed a temporary domestic restraining order against me, and now I can't see my kids. What do I do?" End quote. Well, this question requires a certain level of analysis. First of all, just because one person has a restraining order against another person, that doesn't mean you can't see your kids. So I'd like to know what's going on here. Did the person say, "I have a restraining order against you, here it is, so therefore you can't see the kids"? Or did the order say you can't see the kids? Because if the order said you can't see the kids, then you have an issue. 9 times out of 10, while the court may give a no contact order or a restraining order, it usually does not involve the kids. That is to say, if you had an altercation with your spouse and the court sees fit to keep you away from each other, that doesn't mean you can't see the kids. So if he's saying or she's saying, "I've got this order, therefore you can't see the kids," you've got to read that order. And if you don't understand it, you've got to get your lawyer involved so your lawyer can determine whether or not the kids are included. Now, if the kids aren't included, but the whole idea is, well, you can't come to the house, well, then we got something to work out, don't we? We have to work out a pick-up and drop-off location that's not at the house so you don't violate the order. You've got to work within that. Maybe you pick up the kids from school. You keep it so that you never see the other person, and then you're within the good graces of the order. If it turns out that there's no workable way, then a motion should be filed to modify the order so that the order will say the parties are staying away from each other, except only as it relates to things other than the children. As it relates to the children, the parties can engage in a pickup and a drop-off where it's needed. And in other words, the order can be modified to address that issue. Don't think that just because your ex says, "I've got a restraining order, you got to stay away from the kids," that means you have to. The worst thing that I ever see, and I get this periodically, and I actually got a call, I wouldn't say recently, I would say maybe within the last couple months, where a guy said, "I hadn't seen my kids for a while and I want to see them," and I asked, "Well, why haven't you seen your kids? For what reason?" And the response was, "Well, my ex, we got into it and she took out an order and, against me, now I can't see the kids." And I'll say, "Well, do you have a copy of the order? Either have you read a copy of the order?" And then when the order gets sent to us, the kids aren't included. The kids are sometimes specifically not included. He's got an opportunity to see his kids, and he's not. And I think to myself, well, what's going on here? Did he really believe that the court ordered him to not see his kids? If that's the case, it seems to me that a call goes out almost immediately to a lawyer. "I got this order, it says I can't see my kids. What the heck is that all about?" Sometimes people get these orders and things are so hectic and so stressful that they use it to mean that they can't see their kids so that they can justify pulling out of the situation. But eventually, a couple of months later, they begin to miss their kids, and then they start calling lawyers. And I got to tell you, if the order really said you can't see your kids, it's easier for lawyers to explain to a judge why you haven't been involved in their child's life. But if the order says you're supposed to stay away from so-and-so, and it doesn't speak to the kids, or it leaves open your opportunity to see the kids, and then you don't see them, then we're going to have some very difficult questions that we're going to have to answer. And whether or not we have good answers to those questions might well determine whether or not you see your kids and under what circumstances. If you have any questions about that, reach out, and we'll be glad to help you out.